And Lord Durga asks her certain questions and she answers those questions. And he says, what is the rarest thing in the, that a human being can aspire for, he says. She is saying many things and she starts like this. Ariyadu ketkin vadivelane aridu aridu manidarai pirathal aridu manidarai pirathal aridu manidarainum koon kurudu shevidu piradu neengi pirathal aridu. You know what is koon, kurudu and all that. Koon comes out of old age. Kurudu means blind and severed means deaf. Piradi means all other things which are very bad for human existence. Many deformities. Koon kurudu sevedu piradu illadi piranda kaalayum ஞானமும் கல்வியும் பயத்தலரிது. So, if you even if you are born as a good, physically athletic human being, if you don't have jnanam, that is knowledge, and kalvi, that is education. Education is also knowledge, and this then why she says jnanam kalvi means education outward. This is called vritti jnanam, that is which is developing and developing and developing. The thoughts develop, the thoughts then become speech, and then speech becomes action. So these three things are outward. So you are perceiving the world and your sense organs help you to perceive the world. The body is the hut of experience. I am saying experience because the experience can be pleasurable or not pleasurable, sorrowful. To the mind. The mind only experiences sorrow and joy, and this is through the body that you get the experience. Body is exposed, it is part of nature, so there is interaction in the nature. Prakriti is always, everything is Prakriti, everything is matter. So body is also a body, and also our own intellect, our then all the indriyas, that is organs of action, organs of senses, everything is physical, pro-prakriti. But slowly becoming subtle and subtle, because the body is gross and the subtle body inside, that is less gross, and further less gross is the mind, and further less gross is intellect. Like that it goes up to the point of the self. The self is pure, non-physical entity, awareness, nothing but knowledge and intelligence. If you want to give it a shape, it is intelligence, and intelligence is quality. So the subtler it becomes quality, abstract, value-based. The grosser it becomes quantitative and measurable, and all these things are coming there. The self and non-self. Non-self is matter and the self is non-matter. And the self is so pure, and from that only the non-matter comes. I am now explaining more the details. Anu innu varala. So, I will come to that later. So, this koon, kurudu, sevidu, So all you get a good physical appearance, and most of us are endowed with that. With all the problems, physical problems we are having, we are endowed with good senses and good health and all that. So even if you have this, if you don't have this jnanam and kalvi, jnanam is knowledge which we are talking now. So I have not yet started, no. So jnanam and kalvi. So these two things, if you get, you become a rare opportunity. To be born as an individual is itself a rare thing. And then to have a good physical outfit and a healthy mind is against rarer. And even if you have all these things, if you are to get education, it is a rare thing, because how many people get good education? I mean for worldly life. And then this education is vritti jnanam, that is developing outward. It doesn't help you to understand things. So you are still in the field of ignorance only. So what is knowledge? Need is knowledge. And that knowledge related to self. That to get that is still rarer. And then all these you get also education, you get also knowledge of the self. After getting this, ஞானமும் கல்வியும் நயந்த காலையில் தானமும் தவமும் தான் செய்தல் அரிது. So, what is important? You are coming to the main point, dhanam. That is the seva that you are doing to others. Instead of serving yourself, you are serving the society in so many fashions. You can, and in your work you can bring out that seva quality. When you are teaching, you can bring the seva quality. And similarly, when you go to the temple and do seva, it is the same thing. And also serving the society at large. Aram saying. So Aram saying they are doing the seva. Aram is an important word and it has to be discussed. Aram means do the right thing and avoid the wrong thing. What is right or what wrong I have to explain to you. It is all quality based, value based. So, Aram, there is a quarrel, Enbiladani, Anbiladani, Enbiladani Kayum Veil Board, Anbiladani Kayum Aram. This is a quarrel. Enbiladani Kayum Veil Board. That is, ants etc., they don't have the backbone. So, if you expose them to hot sun, they will die. So, mercilessly, sun will kill them. Like that, Aram, the right and wrong, if it is not properly done, Anbiladane. So, just like sun, heat, and love, that is very important in Aram. So, if that is not there and you do so many things, it's no useless. So, Anbiladani Kayumi Aram. So, Aram is Dharma. What is Dharma is what is good to the society at large. Because everything is supposed to be self. So, and there is inside self and outside self, everything is only one self. This concept I will explain to you now. Both are one. So when the self is the same, so you should see yourself and others around. And what is good for you, you should do for others also. Extend that to others also. The most important thing is dhanam it means giving food. If you give good food to people, there is a great service. Especially they come and do some work and together, and you serve them good food when it is needed. That is a great social service. So that is dhanam. That dhanam is very important, so that because you are doing what? If you are hungry, you suffer, and you know that. Therefore, others should not be hungry. Irrespective of their status. Anybody is hungry, he must be fed. Well, fed only the rich, not the poor. It's not like that. So everybody should be fed. That is dhanam. Tavam. Tavam means austerities. Why it's hearing? Austerities means doing the thing that will help you to evolve spiritually. That is austerities. So those days they had a different form of society, and the austerity, the things that you do under the heading austerities differ. Austerity means giving education, for example, is also a good thing. Austerity comes there also. So to discipline this, the mind, to discipline, to inculcate the values, you have to practice. This tavam is only doing and not doing certain things, so that it helps you to get a peace of mind, a peaceful state of mind that helps you to do your work properly. Even a scientist is a yogi in the sense, unless his mind is peaceful, he cannot do things, find new things. If his mind is agitated, he cannot concentrate on his work. So the inordinate passion to do things motivates the scientist to do his best under odds. See, Einstein was very much put to task by the idiotic teacher of history in his school days. He was not bothered about the events. What history brought good to the society was bothering young Einstein. So he did not concentrate on history, and he failed in history. And the teacher was taking him tasks. Then one day he asked, what is the fun of saying that so and so lived and so and so lived and so and so there was a war, and what is the use of this history? History must be studied with a different perspective, he said. For that he was boosted out. So he had to leave Germany or someplace, Austria, and go to some other college and study mathematics. So, proper perspective, proper mind, mental peace is necessary to do your job. And therefore the Einstein moved to some other place where he could pursue mathematics, and he became so great. This leads to dhanamum tamum tam sevarayan vanavar nadi vadipiradhatmi. So that elevates you spiritually. That is added benefit. What I have been talking to you is only how to lead a happy life in the society. So that this, if you follow this, then spiritually you are also evolving, and it takes you to higher planes of existence. There are so many planes of existence after the spirit leaves the body, after the soul departs, the jivan departs body. It is not atma. Atma is stationary and motionless. It is prevalent everywhere. When the body dies, the atma remains, like the space. The space, you have so many objects are there in the space, including the wall, etc., room, etc. You remove all these things, then space is one and undivided. Nothing happens to space. Space remains space, but it is there, and it is the space which is holding everything. All these objects would not be there if there is no space. Admitted into the class, though coming late.
Sorry, Mama.
Don't feel sorry. You lose nothing. So space is so undivided, and it is undivided matter. very close to undivided Prakriti. Prakriti is still far beyond space, Akasha, because Akasha is one of the 5 elements. These 5 elements have their rudiments that we saw. The rudiment of Akasha is, for example, sound, of Prithvi, earth is, we saw smell, and fire is Rupam, and water is coldness, and air is touch. These are qualities, rudiments. Air has a rudiment, but the air that we are breathing is H2O, that is O2, and other air is also there. In the air atmosphere, there are so many helium and hydrogen, so many air components are there with molecules, etc. Rudiments are less than the atom, less than Boson particle, subatom. So subtle of a matter that is beyond matter, beyond the perspective of the scientist. But scientist can be a yogi, a master of his self, like our sages, and he can unravel the truth. The same attitude comes there also, peace of mind. Om Shanti, 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 we say that, because that is most important for any atma vichara or jnana vichara or prakriti vichara. Prakriti means matter. We are analyzing matter. The physics, a physicist or a chemist, even a doctor. People who are there doing vichara means analysis and finding out the truth of the matter. Then go about it and solve the problem. For that you must have a peace of mind. How do you get that peace of mind? Is a study of the self. Mind is always agitated. Agitation is due to anger, kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, macharya. The 5 things which disturb the mind. Kama is desire. Krodha means anger. When the desire is not fulfilled, anger comes. Anger is a question of inability, insufficiency, insecurity of the mind. So anger is a byproduct of desire. You desire certain things, you don't get that. Then if you are a child, you cry because you want that. The mother knows it is not good for you, but you want that. That is desire leading to anger. So desire, anger, kama, krodha, moha. Moha means infatuation. But here, infatuation, it leads to attachment. Attachment, therefore you are infatuated to it. Long back I was so aspired for a good car, then I purchased a car which was utterly useless and I was deceived. Because there's so much attachment to buy a car completely made you blind to facts of reality. So you ended up buying a car which was very beautiful to look at. But then it never moved and started and ran. So much money has to be spent to make it alright. There is infatuation, your attachment to things. When you are not attached and you analyze it, you don't make these mistakes. You are prudent in ordinary life. So much more for people like scientists and others who are doing researches, and much more for people who are interested in self-analysis, mastery of the self. So you are mastering nature outside as people living in the world of society. You are mastering the world outside, and that mastery leads to so much progress, material progress, so much material progress. This analysis is not in the animals, therefore they are still in the same group. They have got 5 senses. We have the 6th sense, the intelligence. How that has come? It has come out of evolution only. Pullai, Pundai, Maramai, Chediyai, Kudiyai, Mrigamai, Manidanai. We are born. That is evolution, theory of evolution of Darwin. That is known to our saints long back. This was Pullai, Pundai was sung by Manika Vajagar in the 9th century. 900 to 1000 AD, that period he lived. It is older than that. After all, Manikacharya was only telling what the sages said long back. So it was not a new thing at all. For example, we say Bhugola. That means the world is round. We know this fact. Thousands of years ago we know this fact. Why yugas, lakhs of years we know the world is round. Because everything, so by mastering this self, you come to know what is happening everywhere. So I am coming to the subject now, mainly, that is, we analyze about 25 principles. First we said Dasendriyas, 10 organs, organs of senses, organs of action. Then Mano Buddhi and mind, intellect, and then Ahankara, the I concept. And then Chittam is another thing which I never told you. Chittam is intelligence giving the decision to you, and this is taken by Ahankara. So this Ahankara, Chittam is called Antas Chatushtaim, 4 items. That is Ahankara, mind, Ahankara, and then mind, intellect, Ahankara, and Chittam, Chit, intelligence. Everything is intelligence, everything is mind, the whole thing is only mental apparatus. You can say one apparatus with 4 things like cache memory and this current memory and all this. So everything is operated by electricity. So that mind apparatus is analytically divided for our purpose into mind and Ahankara and intellect and also Chittam. So the mind perceives first. It sees an object, mind sees an object. Then intellect analyzes the pros and cons of it. And Chittam says, you take this decision. And Ahankara says, I take the decision. I am the chief. So I take the decision. You take the decision. For example, I had an experience. The usual experience in Vedanta given is the snake rope example. That is, in the twilight you see a rope lying on the road. It looks like a snake to you. So the mind says there is an object there. Then intelligence says, it analyzes, it could be a snake or it could be a rope, something. Then the decision gives the Chittam gives the decision. Well, it is only snake or something like that. The Ahankara says, okay, I see only the snake. The Ahankara assumes all this analysis as its own. Again, it's only mind. For our analysis purpose, we have divided it into 4 segments, the whole thing. So the Ahankara says, I am the whole thing, therefore I see the snake, therefore there I won't go there. Then if we further proceed and find that it is not a snake, it's only a rope, then you are calm. This is wrong knowledge. So the right knowledge you should have. The wrong knowledge you should not have. You should have the right knowledge. That is an important step in Jnana Vichara, in analysis of this knowledge. I had the opposite effect with regard to this snake experience. It was one evening in my house, about 7 o'clock. I had a dim light in my bathroom. I went inside the bathroom, and in that place where you keep the soap box, tile, etc., there something was changing like this, white and dark in the dim light. I presumed it was this jigna paper which you hang in the guli, etc. So there is no reason why such jigna paper should be there in bathroom. And Mami was still here somewhere in Pittsburgh. We and myself and Sriram were alone. Sriram was outside and I was inside the house. So I said it should be jigna paper. I assumed that. The eye in me said it is jigna paper, so I took it in my hand. And like the Janagaraja in the picture, Podalanga, he take a snake, say Podalanga, like that. I came out. It was 7 o'clock in the evening. And under the tube light I saw, luck was for me because it was a putti small baby snake, and it was a sharapam, that is not a sarpam, which will have poison. It was so innocent, it was holding his head, it was standing on my hand. It was fully, this wall, etc. I was completely startled, I threw it down. And there was one Japanese student of Mami who was upstairs. He came and he killed the snake and threw it away. So this experience is the wrong knowledge. This rope was considered as a snake by me. Again, wrong knowledge. All emanating from this mental analysis, which is rather, it is not towards self, it is towards body oriented, and it's all vitiated and colorful. The mind is like a prism, which a prism, when you pass the light rays, it gives so many colors. So according to the color, you view things. Like you're viewing a colored glass, you see only a colored picture, but that's not real. So this example is also given in Vedanta. That is this crystal. Crystal is placed on a blue cloth. It takes that color, but the color doesn't belong to crystal. So also Atma, it is not having any of these plus and minus of the mental aspects. It is untouched, but it is the source of power, and it gives a power to the mind, which is a reflector. Mind is a reflector, and the intelligence is reflected in the mind only, the intellect, in the intellect aspect of mind. So you have hardware and software in your head. So in the behind you have got neuron cells which are very instrumental for our motor actions, hand movement, etc. There is a குறள், முடுக்கி எழுந்தவன் கை போல் அங்கே இடுக்கன் களைவதாம் நட்பு. Philosophy comes there. Tirukkural. Udukkai means dress. So we use dhoti and we walk. Dhoti slips. So it falls. So immediately our hand goes there and holds it and properly presses. So udukki irundavan kai pol, it is so spontaneous for the hand to go and help you. Idukkan kalaivadan natpu. Your friend who comes to you in distress and helps you, he is the true friend. He does it spontaneously. He has no axe to grind. He has nothing, no selfish motive to grind. There are people who come with selfish motive approach you. They will talk all things like that, then come to their own subject. This axe to grind is from Benjamin Franklin, the president, the ex-president, and the founder of the American Constitution. Benjamin Franklin was a scientist also. He also found how the lightning's electricity by playing a kite, and through the thread he connected and he saw the deflection and said it is electricity. So he was a scientist also, a thinker. And the Benjamin Franklin was having his own house, and there he used to do many things, and he used to have the grinding stone, etc. His neighbor, he had an axe to grind. So he will come, Benjamin, how are you? And all that, had your breakfast, etc. Meanwhile, he will grind his axe and go. So he said, Benjamin Franklin, he has an axe to grind. So the true friendship, there is no axe to grind, and it comes selflessly. That is also aram, love. That is love. Okay. So now I will explain you an important thing. That is, I started with these 25 principles. So Dashendriya, sense of organ, sense of action, 10, plus mind, that is manas, then buddhi, intellect, then ahankara, the I, mind, possessive attitude, You don't possess it, but you think it is yours. Nothing is ours. You think it is yours, it is not. So that attitude, ahankara. Chittam. Chittam means it is analyzing things and giving the analysis done by intellect, it is giving the decision. And the ahankara, I concept, I body consciousness, including your subtle body, it decides things according to the mental decision. The mind is an agitated, oscillating thing with a lot of qualities, characteristics of matter. So, those subtleties somewhat closer to atma, it is not atma, so it is only a reflector of atmic power. So you get all these problems. It comes under prakriti. All these things I told you know comes under prakriti. This 14 plus pancha kosas and pancha pranas. Prana is vital force, awareness. Kosas are the sheaths of body, the subtle sheath, the ignorance, all these things, matter. After all, you must remember from non-matter of self, only these matter things are coming out. Grosser, but subtler, but everything positive. There is no negative. The negative thing is what you are saying. So, for example, Kelvin thermometer, you have minus 273 to plus 273. So, after plus 273, the behavior matter is different. Below 273 also behavior matter is different. So, they do not follow the laws of light, the laws of gravitation, etc. Only the other thermometers tell you one or that. So, the behavior matter is different when you use this thermometer. So, these panchakosas are the sheaths, the subtle sheath, the God body, and then the ignorance. And also, and not only that, not that, the Annamaya, Vijnanamaya, I told you. All these are the 5 things that are koshas. And these koshas are operated by the vital force prana, prana shakti. Prana shakti is nothing but this. The power which you get from the self, like the electricity. Electricity, so many operations are done with electricity, but it is only electricity which is giving you all these very varied manifestations. So like that also, your self also is coming as a pancha prana in your body, and the pancha kosa are there. And if you add this to 14, it becomes 19, and then 24 principles. Can you say what it is? I am not coming to my mind. Pancha bhutas. Five elements which is manifested. It manifests the body also. Your body is made of 5 elements. Bhutas, pancha bhutas. These pancha bhutas are outside. Akasha, air, everything is outside. So, this, and one more principle, awareness. So, 25. Okay. 14, Dashendriya, Manobhuti, etc. 14. Plus 5 pancha pranas. 19, plus also 5 Panchabhutas, inside body, outside also. I am giving you 2 comparisons, body and the manifested world, plus awareness. That is yourself. In the self in you is awareness, and the self is outside also. Awareness is outside also. That is Sapadasya Bhutani, Tripadasya Tripadasya Amrutam Devi. Tripadasya Amrutam Devi. That means the world which is manifested world, we are talking about the manifested world, not the individual. This manifested world is observed by the individual. You are observing it. Yourself is observing the manifested world. Understand? Subjective. And you think you are observing it is objective. And 2 scientists, they agree on certain things. And they is subjective. This scientist is making his own subjective analysis, other scientist is making his subjective, they are comparing notes, they agree on that. Sometime back when Nixon was there, he wanted to promote an insurance policy. And he gave the ruling to the people, his men. I want this insurance policy to come into force. So you do the needful. What do? You go and make a survey. You make a survey of only those population which give a result which suits his insurance policy. So a statistician never goes by a simple average. He gives a weighted average. Because the truth must be found. The truth has to be explained in favor of Nixon. Therefore, the insurance policy was framed, it was justified. So, why I am telling you, in spite of your being very impartial and all that, when two scientists agree, they may not be correct. Because even the great rishis who thoroughly mastered the self, we are talking about mastering the self as well as mastering the nature outside, manifested. We are comparing both individual and then the scientists like that. So all these sages, even though they made a thorough analysis of the self, it is something you can't be thorough. There is always some element of relativity there. One man may be more absolute in his terms, another man will be less absolute. There is no end to that. So, with the result, they differed in their analysis. They acquired a lot of spiritual powers and they could easily convince. Ramanacharya can convince the whole population. He was so great in his time, there was no other equal to him in intelligence, and he carried the day. But he believed in Visishtadvaita. So next came Adva and he believed in Dvaitam. Only two things. No two, no one. Two. He said two. This is it. It was only a Adi Shankara, he said only one. That too he said, not one. He said no two. It was so difficult for him to establish that no two concept. He carried the day because he was such an intellectual giant. He carried the day and he drew his power from the Upanishads only. There were still greater saints than Adi Shankara. In fact, we have many such people, even today living an ordinary walk of life, like Mata Madandamai. She is very great. You should read her biography, then you will know how great she is. And born in a fisherwoman. Intelligence has no caste or creed or anything. It could be in a fisherwoman also. It need not be in the sophisticated Sastrigal. It's not necessary. I told you the story of the Kannappa the other day. Who was only a hunter and there was a Kurukal, both of them pursuing the same route. But the Kannappa was far superior to the Kurukal. It comes out because the self is Swami. Swami means Swayam, me, I am. Swayambhu, that is Swami, that is self. That yes is in self also you see. Because the languages are all one. So many of the words have relation. The self and Swami, they have relation. Swayam, I am existing, I am existing, I am existence. We are talking about existence. It's the classification of existence and the non-classification of existence we are talking. So I told you about Tripadasya, that means 3/4 of the thing you don't see at all. And only 1/4 you see. 1/4 is what you see in the manifested world. It goes on ever expanding. Everything is chasing, everything is rolling, everything is going. Sun is stationary as far as you are concerned, but sun is being drawn and it is going away somewhere. That's what scientists say. It's not stationary. For you it is stationary. For us sun is stationary and the earth is going around. Even that we don't know, but we thought the earth was flat and that the sun went around that. It is all your own ignorance. So this is vritti jnana. You analyze outside world manifest. When you analyze inside, that is mastery of the self. The mastery, both are nature only. So I told you about 25 principles. The 25 principles are in the individual. The Dashendriya, Manobuddhi, and then the Chatushyam, the other side 14 plus Pancha Prana, or Pancha Kosha, whatever it is, and then Pancha Bhutas, and self, the awareness. For outside world, there was this Tripadasya Divi, the divinity. They explain it as divinity in Purusha Suktam, Vishnu Purusha Suktam. Therefore, there is monism, that is, they think of a personified being. So when you that personified being, then yourself, you are so different. This is again or unrealistic projection, relativity. Relatively, that is true. But absolutely, there is no Vishnu, no Shiva, no Shakti, nothing. There is only that self, the omnipotent, omniscient. And if you want to give it a rupam, it is Chat-Chit Anandam, that is intelligence and that bliss, knowledge, Sat, truth. Existence is truth. Truth and existence are identical terms. Existence, you know, it is there. That is truth. But how that existence is constituted, that is what we are discussing now. What is the self? What is the outside manifestation? That is what we are discussing. So I told you about 25 principles is when it applies to the outside phenomenon which you perceive. It has the same, the Dashendriya and mental bhakti, everything descended from one called Mahat. We are going back to the primordial existence of awareness. Primordial existence became primordial matter. That is Shiva Shakti, the split. Panchabhutas, they divide. The rudiments, how they divide? First they remain rudiment, then they have a tendency to become two separate parts. One separate part is distinct, and the other separate part becomes four. And this 1/4 of the other half remains with each of these five. This is called manifold division and combination. This gives you the bodies, the physical bodies to us. So no two individuals are alike. So according to his own karma, his experiences, he gets this body. This body is given to you. You ordered for this body, and it is given to you. And the self has nothing to do with that. The self gives you whatever you want. You wanted this body, it has given to you. I want a tail, it gives a tail to you. I don't want a tail, it takes away the tail. Process of attrition. Padayana kalidalu, pudiyana podalu. This is matter. New things will come, old things will go. Accordingly, your existence also changes. If you want a horn, the horn is given to you. Because it is evolution. Matter behaves like that. Changing thing. The changeless is only atma, the self. The primordial awareness. There is a rhythm in everything. And the rhythm is noticeable in our day-to-day life. Even in raga there is rhythm, talam. Because ragam you can go on developing ragam and put it also in the talam if you want to. But you don't do that generally because it is never ending. Like that the whole universe is rhythmic. Gato, gatihi. Gata means rhythmic. And the rhythm ends at these three kinds of creation, maintenance and resolution. Then samadhi, it goes to an even equilibrium, where only the divi explains, remains. The divi remains. The divi means the divine awareness, it remains. You don't know how long it remains like that. Then the world appears from that. it goes on, and then you also come into being. You are given a mind, and you think, you analyze things, you talk. But you are a product of the original unseen existence. Okay, so this awareness, when it appears, you see, it is called Mahat, the subtle part of it. I can't even say subtlety, it is the appearance of matter only, because rudiments we are talking, The rudiments come from the Mahat. So the Mahat is the big bang, you can say. So from nothing, it's wrong to say nothing, from some unseen, the seen things come out. And in the rudimentary stage, the Mahat, that Mahat has this Dashendriya and Manobuddhi and aspects, and then these Pancha Kosas for human being, Pancha Prana, but for it Pancha Kosas and also this Pancha Bhutas all come from awareness. All these are in your body also. That's why this body is same as Tata Pinde, Yata Pinde, Tata Brahmandi, somebody wrote. So the manifestation, seen and unseen, and the manifestation yourself, seen and unseen, you don't see yourself. So both are same. So by analyzing yourself, by mastering yourself, you can know the truth of existence. So this is again in science, repeatedly scientists only come to these views of these sages. Some 30 or 40 years back, all the world scientists assembled. All over the world, they assembled Europeans, the English and the Americans and the Indians and also other East Asians. All they assembled and said, we will explore the universe and find out the fact, the end of it. They sent the satellite and all this. Cruisers, so many names are there. So after 30 years, they are analyzing the matter outside. They again assembled. And what is that we processed all these 30 years? We were only finding the work going on. Nebula, new nebula, and space, new nebula, empty space and all that. Black holes, all these things are there. The secret must be found in yourself. The scientists came to that metaphysics aspect. The secret of unraveling the truth is to be done within ourselves. They came to the conclusion after 30 years, 40 years. This also came, I am quoting to you the authentic information of the Hindu. So I have not made a note of that to tell you exactly. Say after whatever I say, I should vouch for. Otherwise, our dean will not accept that. So these are the basic things we have so far discussed. And we will repeat this prayer now. And the prayer consists the gist of what I said, told you. Pratasparami kridi samsparadatmadattvam Chapsisukam paramahamsa gatim turiyam Yes swapna jagra sushuptama vaiti nityam Tad brahma nishkalamagam nacha bhuta sangha Okay, see, we are here. This is not mere intellectual exercise, but it's also emotional your contemplation. That's why I say Pratasmarami, you are now praying actually for Antaranga Suddhi. That is very important. Antaranga Suddhi is very important. Yesterday, Mahamir showed me some piece of information from Sai self. This Antaranga Suddhi is very important than outside the show. So, for Antaranga Suddhi, for that is this slokam we are reciting. Pratasmara means morning when I pray, the principle essentially in the heart. That is, we are praying this, that awareness principle which is inside the whole operation, which is in the body and it is operating. It is motionless, only the body is moving, it is operating. So, it is the fourth state of consciousness. We have three states of consciousness, that is deep sleep, then dream, and then wakeful condition, and then while you are awake, you experience the self through meditation, and it is a very constant practice and a lot of effort is needed, continuous effort is needed. So, that is comes under Jnana Abhyasa, that we only mention about Jnana Abhyasa, but here we only discuss Jnana, not Abhyasa. So, Sachit Sukham, that is, if at all, if you want to give a nature, it is all quality based, it is not gross based or quantitatively you can't say anything about it. So, it is Sat, truth, Chit, intelligence, Sukham, it is the only bliss. So, Paramahamsa Gatim is that the fourth state, Turiyam is called. This fourth state, you transcend these three states while you are alive. That's why I read that sloka, Ardi Ardi Marida to start with. This is given to you, this is given to you. If you want to go into your lower forms of life, you can be a wicked person, you can be a bad person, and all those things. We will be listing those things later in the final discourse. So that will take you to the lower forms of life. To fire from this, you have come as a human being, you are enjoying a higher form. You are blessed with an intelligence which is able to speculate. Upanishad is nothing but speculation. From ritual they go to speculation. Vedas are rituals. From rituals they go to speculation. It is the speculation that elevates Vedas. That speculative aspect takes you to the fourth stage of your existence with consciousness, full consciousness. So people like Paramahamsa, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Vivekananda, Mahacharya, even Mata Pradhanamai, Satya Baba, Shirdi Baba, and so many persons all people have gone to that fourth stage and they are able to see the truth and they want to give this to the world. But the world is not taking it. That's what Ramalingam said. Kadaivirithyen kolvar illai. I spread my shop. Nobody would buy the material. He was referring to this self-realization. And he said, Kanmudi Prangal, Manmudi Pohed. Kanmudi Prangal, foolish, superstitious thoughts should also be destroyed. That's what we are also talking. Ignorance should be destroyed if knowledge is stripped down. That's what we are also discussing here. So, but these people tried their best. But still the world is not getting it into it. And it is only given to the human beings to analyze this. And out of the hundreds of human beings, only one person realizes it actually. It is a good thing we follow it at least. That's what we can do. Because we have come with a program here that has to go. So even if you become a Jivan Mukta after self-realization, you live in the human body and you leave the body only when your karma is over. So Acharya Sambil for 94 years and Satyabhag for 85 years. Some people go early also. With regard to Vivekananda, he said, Ramakrishna Paramahംsa said, he took him to some high plane of the spiritual evolution, but he said, enough. Because he said he has something more to discharge to the world, and therefore if I take him to my level, then he will have no attachment for the body. So Ramakrishna, Ramana he got this realization through the previous birth penance and austerities, etc. This he got it at the age of 17. And when he went to Tiruvannamalai, already he was a realized soul. There he went and tested what he was experienced was really the correct thing and all that. That's why he went to the cave and he did some tapas, meditation and all that. But he was already a realized soul. Ramana. So, this Jagra Sushupna Vaidhi, this Jagra means these three states of existence, deep sleep, dream, etc. I say I am above these things. This is the witness in all the three states. Self is the witness. When you dream, you are a dreamer. Then you wake up, you are a waker. When you realize Turiyam, you are a realizer. This dreamer, this waker, and the realizer, and the sleeper also. Sleeper is deep ignorance, without the mind. It is the mind that is the devil's workshop. The moment you wake up, all the bad things, everything comes and swaps you and you are totally upset. So when you sleep, nothing exists there. That is very near, you are very near the self-realization, but you are totally ignorant of it. That is the paradox. When you have deep sleep, you are in your natural state of existence, the self. Only self exists, nothing else. When you sleep and when somebody pricks you, the next morning when you wake up and I say I pricked you, I say I don't know. But you pull your leg inside when somebody pricks. Who's doing that? It is yourself. It doesn't require this I. The consciousness of outer consciousness is also not there. The mind is not there to see when somebody pricks there, you know when you are awake. But you are asleep also, you do that. That is like the motor action of the hand I told you. So it is coming from induction inside. That's why in Sandhyavanam you say Devayo Naga Prachodya. That which induces your intelligence and also your action. That divinity I pray. That is the essence of the Sandhyavanam. Gayatri Japam, meaning is that. Gayatri Japam is that which induces my intelligence and my action. That I pray. Varenyam. Om Bho Bhuva Suvaha. Bhuku Bhuvaka Suvaha. These three forms. Bhu is earth. Bhuvaka is Pitralokam. After that, the soul goes to a place. And then Suvaha is the Swargam. Further elevation to the soul. And once it goes to the Swargam, there is a chance it won't come back because from there it goes to Surya Lokam. So Surya Lokam is the Aditya Lokam. So that's why the Tarpanam is done for three people. Pita, Pitamaha, Prapitamaha. Three persons. So Prapitamaha has gone to the presumption. So he has gone to the Surya world. So from there, then next is only the self-existence, the unmanifested self-existence. Tamasara. We pray that also. So I will fastly go now. This sloka and then go to other slokas. After that, every time I shall buy it. It's going another 10 minutes only. So, Pratarbhajami manasa vachasamagamyam Vacho vibhanti Nikila yadanugrahena Yanneti neti vachanai nigama avocham Stam deva deva majamachyuta mahura grayam Stam deva deva majamachyuta mahura grayam Pradar bhajami manasaha vachasam agamyam. So, vachasam agamyam, it is beyond words, it can't be described by words, that principle. And it is beyond manas also. Manas is mind. So, he is only referring to mind here. And then vacha means it comes from through the your own instrument of experience, again speech. So it is beyond speech and beyond your comprehension of the mind. I worship that. Vacho vibhanti, vachaha vibhanti, that is all speeches. Nikala means all speeches. All speeches shine. You are able to make all speeches, all discoveries, all findings, everything only because of this inner force inside you. Yadanugrahena, by whose grace? The anugrahena means grace comes there. The grace is, that is only the pure love. It doesn't have any hatred or any attachment. See, the love that we expend, kindness, is attachment. You are attached to your dog, you are attached to your family, you are attached to everything, things and all that. That attachment love. Unattached love is grace. So, it is said, it is like that. For example, if you have a magnet and iron piece, the effort, we push the iron piece towards the magnet, otherwise it doesn't attract it. The moment you bring it to its magnetic field, immediately it snatches you and takes it. So, in the computer also, you have to pull out the wire, charging wire. That is grace. So, if you prepare yourself, jnana abhyasa, discretion, use with discretion, prepare yourself, you are going nearer that magnetic zone of grace, of the ultimate nature, the reality, it takes you. That's what Trinity Baba also says. I catch you like I catch the chitukruvi or the small bird. So, bird should come to the point by picking the corn. You put a wire there with a snow, and then you dry it. It can't escape from you. He is using it in a healthy sense. That you are the chitukruvi, you come to my fold, I protect you. And for that you have to come to my fold. The moment you come to my fold, I will take you, take you with me. That's what he says. Therefore, it is not necessary you should worship only in the form of Shirdi Baba or some Satya Baba or some. It's not necessary. You can be worshipping any deity you want, but the realized souls, they know it. Because they are already divine, though in human form, this prayer they receive. You may be praying your own God, but they don't know it is happening. There are instances, you read the biography of these great souls, you will know. There was one Malayali in Kerala, and he was doing some worship or something. Then suddenly Satya Baba appeared in his dream and he said, you go to Mata Amrudanami, something like that. He had heard of Mata Amrudanami, so he went to Mata Amrudanami and then he had some spiritual journey and his own spiritual practice. After 20 years, he meets Satya Sai Baba. So he has not met Satya Sai Baba. There are many instances like that for how Satya Sai Baba. There was somebody in Malaysia, and that family did not know him, but he did so many wonders for them. They wanted to come to Satya Sai Baba. Therefore, the mother and son came to Satya Baba to Putrabhakti, and then they understood this. He has played a part in their life because they never knew him, but his grace was given to them. And then while these people were here, his factory got burnt and all that. There was one watchman there in Malaysia, in some city or place. And this Sai Baba went and helped him, alerted that watchman and avoided a great calamity while rest of the burnt, while his workshop was saved. they know that the realist souls know that you are praying. In whatever form you pray, you can pray. And the beauty of it is every soul is so as powerful as the soul of the realist persons. The only difference, the world of difference is they know what they are and you do not know what you are. That is your ignorance. That is ignorance is opposite of knowledge, and that knowledge we are discussing now here. So here in this prayer, Tam Devadevam, Devadevam means God of gods. He is giving a form to that. That God of God is only Sachidanandam. So that is, if you want to give a figure to that, it is that. It is not Shankachakradhari or Shiva or anything. But if you want to worship in Shiva, it comes in the form of Shiva. So that is how. Devadevam Ajam. Ajam means he is not born. Achyuta means imperishable. Ahur Agrayam. Ahur means to give expression to Agrayam. You can't grasp him and say give an expression to him. So the only way to understand is this is not this, this is not this, this is not this. Yat neti neti. Yan neti na iti vachanehi. By this, the great sages say this is not this, this is not this, this is not this. This is it. There is a great sloga about it. In some other class I told you. Linantaka prajyam, na prajyam, na prajnanakanam, na prajyam, na prajyam. Prajnam is awareness. You think awareness is God? He says no, it is not. Awareness is God. You are speaking, this is awareness, spoken awareness. So you are talking about Nantaka prajnam, not inside consciousness. You are thinking you have got a consciousness that is inside that also you know. So you think that is God, that is not God. Nantaka prajnam, na bahish prajnam. Bahish means outside. Prajnam, not outside prajnam which I am talking, you are listening, this, not this one. Then prajnanakanam, na prajnanakanam. Then two things put together, is that the reality? It is not also, na prajnanakanam. Then why do you confuse with all this outside prajnam, inside prajnam, all that are the assemblage of the prajnam? Simply call it consciousness. It is not so. Na prajnam. Na prajna. Then there is nothing conscious or anything like that. So it is our body or something. It is part of body. Na aprajna. Na aprajna. Opposite of prajna. You say it's not prajna, so it's the opposite. Na aprajna. Then what is it? Adishtam. Drishtam means to see, perceive. Here we generally use the word drishtam as something lucky and all. I am very lucky and all. So, and normally what we say when you do something, I did this, the yugodam comes there. But something goes bad, we were not responsible for it. So, adishtam means is neither good nor not referring to good or bad, not seen. Like natram, for example, smell. That may be good or bad. But earth smell is different from the rudiment. I am talking rudiment of earth is smell. That smell is not the smell which you are seeing. There is good smell, bad smell, everything you are seeing. The original smell of earth. For that you have to go to the self and find out the rudiments. When you go to the self, you know the rudiments also. That's how the sages found out the truth. That is called Agama Sastram. Agama Sastram is sacred testimony of the sages. The sacred testimony you have to accept, because where prediction fails, where inference fails, only sacred testimony holds the truth. So that's why the entire Advaita is based upon sacred testimony, on script only. And it was easy for Madhva to say, it's all based upon script and all that. It's not protection and what you see. You see duality only. And everybody sees duality and they accept it, Madhva. But Madhva was very great, really. Various planes of existence are there. So it is possible to have a God and yourself. This is again a projection and unreality, relatively true. It's not untrue or something like that. It is true. Because God comes in some forms and help you, and even in your own small limited field of experience, I can tell you how it happened. So it is there, but it is relative. Everything is relative. Not that as if we are not existing or anything, we are existing. This is relative, temporary only. So the body is the heart of experience. This experience is not real, like dream. And that is the finding of the sages. So Avocha means that which cannot be explained in speech. Therefore, it can't be described by saying. So this is not, this is not, this is not. So this is. So I came to Adhishtam, Avyavaharam, Avyapadeshyam, Agrahyam, Achintyam, Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. That is, can't see that, you can't grasp it, you can't say by words, syllable, say this, you can't explain it. Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. It is fully the essence of Atma. And then the slogan ends as Manyante, that is, great people say. This is said by a great Rishi, the Mandika Upanishad. But he says with all humility that ego should go. With all humility he says, this is said by sages. The man who says he is a great sage. That humility should be there if you want to elevate yourself. That incidentally helps you also practical life. That's why it's Ikaparasava. So you get all the benefits in the world now by accepting these things. And you also spiritually evolve. And how fast you do it is how fast you end this kind of existence. But that cycle, you break it. All things, living things, from microcosm to macrocosm, all things are only marching towards self-realization. Various degrees. Countless number of births and lives. By cycle it is going on. It is a fish which develops the breathing mechanism to breathe outside of water. Then animals came, then man came, insects came, so many things, various forms of expression of life. All towards the evolution of self-realization. Because ultimately it is the one that is prevailing. That is the final pralayam, that the dissolution about which you are talking, which comes and which exists and which goes. Many slokas we are reading, we again will go through the sloka now. So I have there's one more one. Pratar namami tamasaka paramarka varnam. Pratar namami tamasaka paramarka varnam. Please repeat. Pratar namami tamasaka varnam. Purnam sanatana padam. Purushotamakyam. Purushotamakyam. Yasmin nidam jagada asesham aseshamurtau. Jagada aseshamurtau. Aseshamurtau. Rajvam bhujangamaiva pratibhasitam vai. Okay, so here I gave you the snake example. It looked like the rope looked like bhujanga means snake. It looks like snake, and he says it is not snake. It is real existence of the divine principle or nature, whatever it is. Pratibhasitam means it shines. Bhasita means it shines. And then I worship that. Here the most important word is tamasaha. Tamasaha paramarka varnam. So Tamasaha darkness, which is the supreme nature. Paramarka varnam means supreme nature. So darkness, supreme nature, I worship. That is what he says. This is the only slogan where Acharya talks about darkness, worshipping darkness. All along we are talking about knowledge. which is opposite of, it is light, and opposite is dark. Ignorance is darkness. You should not worship darkness, you should go towards knowledge. You go towards light, so that darkness itself goes away. So also we talked about the ignorance principle in the 3 sheets of layer, gross body, subtle body, and the ignorance, causal body. That causal body is ignorance, I told you. The ignorance of your own self, which you are attaching yourself to the body and self-concept. Therefore, repeatedly you are taking the same kind of existence. So it is given to you by that atmic principle. And here the tamasaha is the darkness part of it. As the primordial existence, you go to the primordial situation where you have got 3/4 an unseen manifested world, unseen world, and 1/4 manifested world. Why this one proportion is used? Because it is absolute and indefinite. You can't say about quantity and all that, but to tell you the magnificent or the magnitude of the greatness of this principle, he says 1/4 and 3/4. You have seen 1/4 how big it is. So 1/4 is so big, after 3/4 how much bigger it should be. And that bigger thing is tamasaka, that is all darkness. What do you see? In night you see, when there is no star, only darkness you see. Darkness exists. That darkness, behind the darkness is the awareness, which is pratibhasitam vai. Pratibhasitam vai, here bhasitam is, normally bhasitam means to shine. Here it manifests. Manifestation, see, when it shines only you see things. For example, if you see an object, and if it, in a mirror it reflects. So you see the reflected image, that is a false image. But when you lens through the lens, it goes real image, you can capture it. So the real image and the false image. But when it falls on an uneven surface, its rays are refracted. So they are not directly reflected to give your own figure there. But you see that object which is lying there. Due to the refraction only you see the object there. Your flower takes only one particular color and absorbs the rest of the color. That particular color it emits, and so a variety of colors you see. This is again an unreality, which is only to make this beast to come to its moham. Moham means attachment. Bees are attached to color and they go there. It is watered by the flower because then only this fertilization will take place, cross fertilization. So it absorbs all the colors and left only one color outside. That means that from the darkness you get light. That's what I want to tell you. The tamasaka is also the same. Whether it is undivided awareness or undivided matter, which is very subtle matter is very subtle. But when it takes the shape of matter, it starts changing to different things. And all these are only just outward projection on the self. The self is the knower, is the maker. He is also he makes the world, and he is also making the cause of action of this. All three are one. That is how the manifestation takes place. So you can as well worship tamasaka also, because this Acharya knows the nature of existence. He is here worshipping the tamasaka principle, paramarka varnam, supreme nature. He calls it supreme nature. He is differentiating between nature and awareness. Both are aspects of the same coin. Sukha dukkham, same aspects of the same coin. There is no sukham, there is no dukkham. Aspects of the same coin. It's all experienced by your body through the mechanism of mind. And it is a product of the mind. It has nothing to do with your real existence, which is one of absolute bliss. So I have explained to you, and then I have not explained the other slogans of this today's. Will we fastly go through that?
Not today.
Mudiyadilla? We will finish that. So, today's session we are finishing. Same thing, ideas, going further the subject.
If you are all available, we can squeeze in the missed session somehow. Because
I will finish it fast.
not today.
Uh.
We will schedule probably like a couple of sessions in a week to just catch up for the last session.
It's very difficult for me to contain myself only to this sloga. So, but this explanation will help you to understand the other slogas fast. Because I am going backward and forward in my explanation. Okay, so we are finishing today. I'm sorry I couldn't go to other lessons.
Papa, you want to say anything or the mic? You want to say something?
Nothing to say.
Okay,
Only the subject is so much in my mind. Only listeners are not waiting. What are you?
Papa, clip up the mic in your show. Clip it up.
I am not mic conscious.
Yeah. So, you have a question session.
Caller the clip caller.
How do you conclude the session? Did you just ask questions or I missed the last one?
Correct, one time I'm 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
But I explained to you the main concept today, that is about the Mahat outside and also inside, human body and what is outside. That concept I explained, I hope you understood it correctly. Any questions, any doubt, if you want, you can ask. People who want to ask can remain, others can go. Is there anything, any doubt in what I explained to you? I explained to you about what was the manifested word, and also explained about the individual.
So all these three slokas, Pratar Smarami, Pratar Bhajami, Pratar Namami. Then here he says, Pratar Kale Patidyastu. Why is that so important?
Yes, I will tell you. That is sloga trayamidam loga traya vibhushanam pratar kale patetyastu sagachet paramam padam. That is the sloga. See, paramam padam is only self-realization. Self-realization, and when I told you about various planes of existence. Various planes of existence I told you. See, it is a fact that Kali presented herself to Ramakrishna Paramsa. Similarly, it is a fact that Rama came to help with Tyagaraja Swami and Ram Bhadrajala. These are all the intensity of concentration on your own self, and that is coming out in the forms because you wanted these forms to come. You believed in those forms. So it was manifestation of these forms only to you, to the evolving soul. And for it reveals to individuals also who are fortunate to get this experience, like the thieves who come to Vele Tyagaraja Swami, then they run away. The next morning they come and say, 2 princes came and chased us. and they were so brilliant and we were so enchanted. We are going to be your servants throughout. We will be your palanquin bearers. They say, the Trimurti music Trinity. He sings, Rama, you showed themselves to them, but you don't show to me. I don't see you, he says. Because he is worshipping Ram Nama, Namasmarana, Anyo Upayam Nahi Pashyamo, Bhavatarane. Bhavatarane means, Bhava means this ocean of samsara. Tarane means to cross it. I don't have any other means except your name. Acharya Swami sings in the Bhajagovindam. So he says the concentration of one syllable, which is removing all other thought process, all developing thoughts. You just sit and you try to meditate, but you will not be able to meditate. 101 thoughts will cross your mind. It is so difficult to control the mind. Absolutely difficult, and you never exercise that. You are always having this kind of mental waverings, and then we also perish one day. So to concentrate the mind, focusing on one. Music, for example, is one. You devoted to music, some sort of concentration, or your own subject faculty. So concentration. Without concentration, you can't achieve things. So the repeated name chanting arrests those thoughts. That's what I started doing. Throughout this morning, I was only chanting name, not thought about all this lesson, etc. So I am giving example lecture to you. So, if you want to think about it, then 100 thoughts come and all that. So, that's one way of arresting the thought process in mind. So, you're chanting the name. And you give a figure to that Rama. And in that that figure comes and shows itself to you. It's all real. See, in the case of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he was from the age of 7, he goes for a jatra. Jatra means some utsavam or something in Bengal. When he returns, he swoons. So that was his own, the grace was coming to him. And he was not aware of what is happening to him. Then everybody said, no, he is possessed by. And he is a child, 8 years or 9 years. So he comes back. And then he is always having this kind of Kali Smarana. And providentially, his life is unfolding. He comes to Calcutta. His brother is a preacher in a temple. So he comes to Calcutta. There is a rich Jamindarini. She builds a Kali Koil, Dakshineshwar. Then she appoints this Oct07 as the priest. There he is, Bhavatarani, he is worshipping. A few years go, 10 years, he becomes 21. After 21, he is doing this preaching. And Kali starts coming, chasing him and behind him, standing him. And when he puts the garland, he sees the Kali. His whole thought process is only Kali. He doesn't have any other thing. Like Mami, I am thinking only about music. That gives a new vista's vision in music field, which you are not able to comprehend. And if you are a good student, you can pick up from her. That is concentration. Your mind, mental concentration. And that's also inventions, etc. happening that way only. Mind focus. Intelligence. It is intelligence that is everything. That is in your intellect. Intelligence, the atmic principle, there is one place where it shows it. That is intellect. So, there you identify intelligence. So it is intelligence which is giving you all these things, And so in the case of Ramakrishna, after 21 he was only seeing Kali and Kali Rupa. Then one day in his dream, Kali comes, say, there is one Ramananda, he will come and initiate you. Then you will have a greater understanding of me, she says that. Ramananda is he was somewhere near a village, Jamshedpur, somewhere away from Calcutta. And he is a great worshipper of Bhuvaneshwari, the Amba. At the age of 15, he passes some SLC examination and then he is given a job in Calcutta by a Seth, by a businessman, for a salary of 15 rupees per month. The first book the accountant gives to him, write all the accounts. He writes Devi, Namo, Devi, all the book, entire book he writes only Devi. When the accountant saw this, he was very much annoyed. And he takes to say, this is what he has written for the last 2 days. Then Seth has a different view of the whole thing. He said, you go to your place, every month I will send you 15 rupees. Those days 15 rupees was the salary. 1870 or something like that period. So he gave him 15 rupees every month. That man was so much devoted to Bhuvaneshwari, and his daughter's name was also Bhuvaneshwari. So one day he was having a small hut and a house, and he was putting the fence there. And you know this Pali or the Tannam, you put this way, other person should bring it like that, then twist it. So one person should sit at the other side of the fence and he should fit in this fence. So he is doing this work, chanting Bhuvaneshwari. Then he wanted the help of his daughter. He calls Bhuvaneshwari, come and help. Bhuvaneshwari comes and helps. He finishes everything. And then he is finishing the piece of work, he gets up. And then Bhuvaneshwari comes from inside the house. And she says, how you have been doing, Appa? He says, you have been helping me all along. But I never came, Appa, here, she says. So great was Ramananda. That Ramananda, Kali goes, you go and initiate Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He comes all the way to here, and then both, they said, he invites him. I know you are coming. He says, Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He invites him and he goes there. He touches his brow here. In 21 seconds, the Kali was dominating his mind, split into 2 pieces, and he sees the vast expanse of the existence of the self, which is himself. Afterwards, Ramakrishna, if you wanted to see God in the form of Christ, he will come in the form of Christ. If you wanted to see the form of Muhammad, he tested that also. He wanted to see him in the form of Krishna, he saw Krishna. So all these deities were at his beck and call. Because he himself was the realist soul. Therefore he could tell Vivekananda, can you show me God? This is what Vivekananda used to ask everybody at the age of 70. Nobody could say. So he got dissatisfied. Here came Ramakrishna. Can you show me God? Yes, I can show you. Sit. He put his hand on his head. That's all, he completely lost himself. For 2 hours he was sitting like that. Then he waked up. And then he became such a devotee, he never asked any question. Vivekananda. He became a staunch devotee of Ramakrishna. But Ramakrishna said, only one more step for him to come to the final stage, but I am not going to do it because he has a vision to fulfill. So Ramakrishna was just an ordinary man, not gone to school or anything like that. So you know what happened? He had 12 disciples, and all the 12 disciples jumps, and Vivekananda was the, what you call, Oct07, idol, going out to the world. So he established the institution, and it is doing wonderful work throughout the world. In Ramakrishna Mutt in Madras, I one day went there for some purpose. There was a huge hall upside, and that day happened to be the day of the meeting of all the orphans throughout Tamil Nadu, brought up by Ramakrishna Mission. I found over 2,000 youngsters, boys and girls, all 13, 14, 15 years, like that. Each one was giving his own experience. Brought up by Ramakrishna at various places, how they are successful. Many of them were handicapped, not having a leg or something like that. They were remarkably bubbling with enthusiasm, and said they were highly studious and they were doing so many wonderful works in so many different ways. That is how Ramakrishna, that is service, that is Aramsari. So that is how the Ramakrishna mission has grown up throughout the world. So, I have answered your question.
But is Pratakale very important?
Pratakali is important. It's called Brahma Muhurtam. That is 3:45 to 4:30. It's called Brahma Muhurtam. See, what is required is calmness, peace of mind. Absolute peace of mind. Outside. But inside you are all agitated. So you have to train up the mind. It is a scientific process of doing experimenting yourself. So it is possible to achieve great results. Heights reached by great men and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling up in midnight. So said Longfellow. The heights reached by great men. You see, he was talking about the worldly events, but it applies to spiritual evolution also. So that is Jnana Abhyasa, that is the Sanskrit word for that. Jnana Abhyasa Vinirmalam. By Jnana Abhyasa Nirmalam, you make it clear. It is a continuous process. It is possible for anybody, for any walk of life, any caste, any creed. No education is needed for this. It can be done. We are not doing it. That's the thing. Dissipating our energy outside, worldwide. Already put a permission. I'm patient there. The next class, I will go fast because I have to express a basic concept to you. I will not transgress like this. So I will confine myself to the topic.